Good evening. My name is John Nicholas. Welcome to Gettysburg National Trade Park. Welcome to the second day's battle, one of our real-time programs, about a 30-minute program. We have a lot to pack in 30 minutes. This is going to be focused on sort of the 1st Minnesota, and you might wonder why we're standing down here if their monument is over there, which is about 100 yards away. I've often believed that monument was in the wrong place. And the 1st Minnesota initially on July 2nd is protecting an artillery battery, Evan Thomas's battery, and Thomas's battery shows up on all the maps on the other side of Pleasanton Avenue over here, which is actually the Hummelbach farm lane, and you can see the fence is running out all the way to the Gettysburg Road. We're going to be walking over that direction in a little while. And the 1st Minnesota is protecting that battery. Now they will move forward and they'll move to the left, but they're not going to move that far left. And the other day I was talking to John Heiser and I asked him, what do you think? He says he agrees with me that the monument should actually be a little bit closer. It actually should maybe be almost to the in front of the steps, or maybe a little bit closer to us than way down there. And my original plan was we're going to go out to the Plum Run Ravine out there, but I've been out there several times. Maintenance mode made a good, great lane out there, but unfortunately we can't use it because of all the rain we've had the last several weeks. The ground is too saturated, it's too rutted, and if we walk out there, it'd take us about 45 minutes. I only have 30 minutes to walk out there. So it's 4:30 in the afternoon. General James Longstreet and Confederate First Corps launched attacks on the southern end of the battlefield. They're moving up here. By 6 p.m., though, there's a problem. The attacks have gotten off track. Longstreet's objective, and General Lee's objective, is not Devil's Den or Little Round Top or the wheat field, but Cemetery Ridge and Cemetery Hill up here. And at this point, Longstreet has about 23,000 men, but 14,000 of them are fighting in the areas where Lee doesn't care about. The Round Tops, the Devil's Den area, and the wheat field. So around 6 p.m., he halts his last brigade in line. Williams-Barksdale's Mississippi Brigade holds him off, even though Barksdale wants to get in this fight in a very as quickly as he can. He holds him off because he realizes the attack is off track. And when Barksdale, he lets him go, Longstreet gets the attack, and Barksdale gets it back on track by attacking the Peach Orchard and crushing that salient there. And now they're turning attention to the division, Union Division along the Gettysburg Road line out here. Andrew Humphrey's division, about 3,500 soldiers. But the problem is that Longstreet is out of troops. He's had 8 brigades and his 2 divisions. They're gone, though. Barksdale's going the right direction, but everybody else is fighting down there. But fortunately for him, he's been told there's another division out here commanded by General Richard Anderson of the Confederate 3rd Corps. Anderson has about 7,500 men in 5 brigades, and they're supposed to cooperate with Longstreet's attack. At 6:45, the first of the Confederate brigades are stepping off out there. An Alabama brigade commanded by this man, Cadmus Wilcox, about 1,800 Alabamas. They're stepping off. They're headed towards Andrew Humphrey's division. At the same time that they're attacking Humphrey's division from the front, Barksdale will be attacking it from the right flank. And the small 4th Brigade, Colonel David Lang, will be attacking the left flank. Barksdale is, Humphreys is hit from every different direction possible. Even though the numbers on both sides are about equal, Humphreys is in a bad position. He's trying to hold on as long as possible, but after a while he realizes everything south of him is gone. He gets the orders to fall back and retreat. Now, Humphrey's division is very well disciplined. When they retreat, they don't panic. They start falling back. They'll drop back a couple hundred yards, turn around, fire at the enemy, fall back again and again. But as they go on, the Confederates press them harder. Humphrey's men are beginning to panic. And now some of them are leaving the ranks, and dozens are running across the fields. Over on this side of the field is Union 2nd Corps Commander. You can find him here. Winfield Scott Hancock. Hancock is on this side of the field. Already he sent one of his divisions, Caldwell's division, which is basically in this area right here where we're standing, down to help Sickles out in the wheat field. And Barksdale, or rather Caldwell's division, will get chewed up down there. He gets more orders to send more troops down there. And seeing regiments left and right out here in that direction. At the same time, he rides up here, tells his division commander over to my left, your right out here, John Gibbon, to start sending troops Out to the Gettysburg Road out there, 2 regiments and a battery will go out there. Another one will try and link up with Humphrey's division out here. They're being pushed back across the fields. They're trying to hold on, but in a bad situation. The Confederates are coming forward, and my plan was originally to go out here to Plum Run, out here the Cadore Thicket, which if you get out there ever, is a very instructive place to see because it's a very large, much larger place than it appears to be from here. That thicket out there is anywhere from 30 to about 80 yards wide. Inside that thicket is a stream, Plum Run, only about that wide, but it's in a ravine that's anywhere from 30 to 50 feet wide. It drops down about 10 or 15 feet. My plan was to go out there, but that's not possible today. So what we're going to do now is move off to the left out here. We'll be looking across the fields at what's happening out here. So we'll move in this direction. Now y'all can look over my head, look out in this direction. We're out here in the area now known as Winfield Scott Hancock's Knoll. This is where he would be wounded on July 3rd. Looking to the south out here, you'll be able to see trees that run along Plum Run out here. Plum Run actually starts up here, not too far from the Cadore Farm up here. And Humphrey's men are retreating from the Gettysburg Road out here. Now, when Wilcox's brigade stepped off, he had 5 regiments. One of them, the 8th Alabama, was facing a weird position because they've been skirmishing out here with the Verdun sharpshooters early in the day in the 3rd Maine. They returned to protecting the flank of the army, so they're at a 90-degree angle with the rest of the brigade. When they step off, they kind of have to straighten out their alignment. Because of that, they actually move south of Barksdale's brigade. So they're separated from most of the brigade from most of the fight out here. But they're coming, they're all hitting Humphrey's division on all 3 sides. Humphrey's is falling back. The line is collapsing out here. Hancock, to try and give Humphrey support out here, has sent 2 regiments. The 42nd New York with the Chief Tammany on top of their monument out there, and the 19th Massachusetts out here along with Julian Weir's battery. They're moving out here to the south of Cadore Farm and firing on those Confederates out there. So they're inflicting some casualties out there, but Humphrey's division is falling back. At the same time, Hancock is still having to send more troops to the south. And now there's a crisis because Barksdale has got nobody in front of him. He's nearing the George Weichert Farm. There's nobody in front of him. There's a big gap right there. He's moving forward. And Hancock realizes this. So Hancock's going to have to start stripping his lines of more and more troops. Eventually, he'll pull 26 regiments from over here down in this direction. But the first thing he does, he rides up here to the north end of Cemetery Ridge and orders George Willard's New York Brigade to start moving down behind Cemetery Ridge out here towards the Weichert Farm. Barksdale is coming forward at the same time. Barksdale's been knocking everything out of its path. He doesn't know what's coming towards him. Mississippians out there running out of steam. They're running out of gas. Barksdale's regimental commanders tell him we should halt, reform our lines, and the rest before we move forward. But Barksdale says, no, we've got the momentum going. We need to keep going. They keep moving forward, but now they're running out of gas, as I said. And Barksdale will be shot. He'll be mortally wounded. And finally, Willard's brigade will show up down there and hit Barksdale's flank and drive him back. Meanwhile, out here, Wilcox's brigade is moving forward. To his left is David Lang's Floridians, about 760 men and 3 small regiments. We're facing Weir's battery out here. They're coming forward, and to their left is a Georgia brigade, 1,400 men under Ambrose Wright. They all move across the fields, but now there's problems out here. Because of all the fighting out here on the Gettysburg Road, Wilcox has taken some casualties. 8th Ohio, 8th Alabama, rather, has moved too far to the south, so now he's down to about 1,400 men. He's moving towards Plum Run out here. His men are exhausted. The Floridians moving forward as well. They're just on the other side of the fence here, and Hancock is looking for more and more people to buy him some time. He sees Humphrey's division withdrawing across the field, but now panic is setting in with Humphrey's men. They retreat back south of where the Pennsylvania Memorial is and start to reform their lines, but they're in a panic right now. They cannot fight. And right now, there's a 500-yard gap between the Hummelbaugh farm lane right here all the way down to the George Weichert Farm. It's a wide open door. If Wilcox and Lang and Wright move in that gap, this battle is over. Hancock is running down here looking for more and more men. He's pulling more men in that direction, but now there's a gap over about where just behind these trees right here. And he sees Wilcox moving into the Cadore thicket right there. They're moving into the ravine. Some of them are moving forward, but they're exhausted. They're worn out, but they're only 200 yards away from this gap. Hancock is riding forward. He sees more troops. It looks like they're retreating, goes to rally them. They shoot at him. He realizes they're the Alabamas. His staff officer that's with him is wounded twice, but he'll escape. Both of them will escape over here. They ride forward, looking for anybody to buy them some time. He knows Humphrey's going to rally out here. He's already sent orders to Meade, or request to Meade to send troops over here. Meade has troops coming. But he's riding over here looking for anybody to buy him some time. 10 or 15 minutes. He rides back over here where the Pleasanton, where the Humblebaugh farm lane is. The only soldiers he sees are the 1st Minnesota, commanded by this man, Colonel William Colville. The 1st Minnesota had been the first regiment to volunteer for the war. Governor of Minnesota happened to be in Washington, D.C. Fort Sumter was fired upon, told Lincoln, I'll give you 1,000 men for the Army in the East. The other Minnesota regiments fired in the Western armies, but this is the only Minnesota regiment in the East. 1st Minnesota will come east in 1861 with 984 soldiers. Fight the 7 Days Campaign, at 2nd Manassas, at Antietam. By this time when they arrive at Gettysburg, they have 399 men in 11 companies. There's some problems. One of the companies, Company C, has been detached to guard prisoners. Another company of sharpshooters is sent down up north towards Cemetery Ridge to protect the battery up there. And his 3rd company, Company F, is sent farther south to deal with skirmishers down there. That leaves Colville with 8 companies of 262 soldiers. And Hancock rides through and he sees this small regiment here. And he sees what they have to face out there. He says, my God, are these the only men that we have? He tells Colonel Colville, he points to battle flags poking up out of the ravine, probably of the 11th Alabama. He tells Colonel Colville, Colonel, I've got more people coming. Humphrey's going to rally back here. They'll be up soon. And I've sent a request to me to send us troops up here, but I need you right now. I need you to buy me 10 or 15 minutes worth of time. That's all I need. 10 or 15 minutes. He points to the battle flags poking up out of the ravine out here. He says, Colonel, advance and take those colors. The lieutenant in the 1st Minnesota would later write, every soldier knew in an instant what that order meant. Death or wounds is all. Destruction of the entire regiment to safe position and maybe the battlefield. These men are back here. They've been watching what's happening out here. They know what they're facing out here. They can see how big it is. They see Union troops retreating across the field. It must look like to them they're facing the entire Confederate army out here. They're outnumbered 5 to 1. They understand what's going to happen to them in the next couple of minutes. There's an arm, a leg, their eyes. Maybe this is the last couple of minutes of their life. Colonel Colville has already ordered the regiment to fix bayonets. Now he realizes he can't take on an entire Alabama brigade out here, which has 262 men. He orders them to advance, charge, forward march at the double quick, and jog across the fields. And in the movies, when you see a charge, a bayonet charge happen, everybody's running as fast as they can. That's not the way bayonet charge really happen. You want to get all your people there all at the same time. Everybody's running as fast as you can, and you get there first. Who do you think you're going to shoot at first? The guy that gets there first. Just trying to get there as a group. So they're jogging across the fields. The Alabama, some of them are outside the ravine. They bunched up in the ravine as well. And they're starting to fire on the Minnesotans. Men are starting to drop. One soldier said, we realized if we didn't move quickly enough, every one of us would be killed. Now, how could these men go forward? Why would they do this? How could they possibly do this? Maybe the soldier went forward because the man next to him did. Maybe they didn't have time to think about this. Maybe they understood exactly what this meant. They have to do this, even if it costs them their own lives. That has to be done. They charge forward towards that ravine. More and more of the Alabamas are seeing them coming. They raise up and shoot, but because the ground rises up, they overshoot their targets and the bullets go over their heads. When they have a chance to reload, the Minnesotans will get about 20 paces away from those Alabamas. Fire a volley in their face and charge forward with a solid wall of bayonets. First line panics, runs back, crashes into the second line behind them. The entire brigade, Alabama brigade, will retreat 75 yards from the ravine. And the Minnesotans will move into that ravine and use it as a rifle pit. The thing is, those Alabamans don't go any farther forward. They stay where they are. Now they're starting to shoot at the Minnesotans, but as one Minnesota soldier said, if I can find the quote here.
Jesse Ventura once said, "I ain't got time to bleed."
Yeah. Actually, to the left over here, the Floridians, David Lang, the colonel of the Floridians, is looking over here, and he says, because everybody's stunned out here, but it's what happened, he says that Wilcox was struck by a superior force. Wilcox has 1,400 men over there. 1st Minnesota only numbers 262 men. But it's like being a bully, being punched in the nose, you suddenly don't know what to do, so you're caught by surprise by this, and you fall back across the field. But now they're shooting again, but as one Union officer wrote, the ferocity of our onset seemed to paralyze them for a time. Though they poured a terrible and continuous fire from the front and enveloping flanks, they kept a respectful distance from our fixed bayonets. So those Alabamans there won't go any farther forward. David Lang is over here. He's moving forward, though. He's facing Julian Weir's guns out here. He'll charge forward to capture 3 of them. Weir will never get over this. After the war, he supposedly committed suicide because he lost his guns here on July 2nd. Even though his guns were recaptured. But now more reinforcements are coming up. The 19th Maine back here. And really one of their first battles, even though they've been in the Army for an entire year. They'll drive forward, examine the Floridians, wall them back. Back over here, Wilcox won't go any farther forward. He realizes he's gone as far forward as he can. There's a military concept called the culminating point. And that culminating point is when an attacking force, either due to exhaustion, attrition, casualties, or from a lack of will, can no longer go any farther forward, can no longer attack. The Federals don't realize it, but they've reached the culminating point out here. When you've reached the culminating point, you should expect a counterattack. And that's exactly what's happening, because now coming on the field are the Union 1st Corps and 12th Corps. They'll move down here, they'll eventually push back Barksdale all the way across the road. The 1st Corps itself will come over here, hit Wright's George and push them back across the fields. And here in the center, Lockwood's brigade from the 12th Corps will be pushing these guys back as well. Around 8 p.m., the fighting over here is pretty much over. There's no daylight savings time back then, so really think it's 8 p.m., it's really 9 p.m. today. And the fight is over out here, men out here. So the Death Brigade going out in the fields collecting weapons and prisoners and equipment. And a staff officer will go over to George Meade. And he'll tell General Meade it's been very close today. Meade says, yes, it has been today, but now I think everything will be all right. And Meade and Hancock and Henry Slocum go back to his headquarters, and they'll meet the chief of the Bureau of Military Information, Colonel George Sharp. And if you go to Angie Atkinson's campfire tonight over here at the amphitheater at 8 o'clock or 8:30, you'll get that story over there. But these men here are the 1st Minnesota. Of those 262 men, 215 be killed, wounded, missing, or captured. Including Colonel Koval, who is very badly wounded. His regiment is relieved. We move back across the field. There's only 47 men left standing. And the next day, those 3 companies have been missing from the 1st Minnesota, and we'll come back to a much smaller 1st Minnesota. And on July 3rd, they'll repulse Pickett's charge right over here. And by the time this battle is over, there's not many men left of the 1st Minnesota. Eventually, men will recover from their wounds. Colville will recover from his wounds and walk with a limp for the rest of his life, but they never get over this day at Gettysburg. In March of 1864, not enough men to make the 1st Minnesota, not enough men are re-enlisting. They realize their war is over and they'll go back home. And if you come here today, you go in the National Cemetery, you see an urn in the Minnesota section. That urn is the very first monument on this battlefield, placed there in 1867 by the survivors of the 1st Minnesota. Down here, you see the soldier church across the field south of the Pennsylvania Memorial. They should actually move the monument up in front of the steps. That's their second monument over here. And right over here, you see the small office where they repulsed Pickett's charge on July 3rd. A very small regiment here at Gettysburg, number only 399 men. When they leave, they'll have much fewer men. They do very important work here at Gettysburg. Probably, there's very few regiments I can say probably saved the day on this battlefield. One of them would be the 1st Minnesota. I want to thank you for coming out here this evening. Finished 6 minutes ahead of time for once. If you have any questions, I'll stick around, but thank you very much for coming.